gentleman who joins us now, has done a great job at Carver High School, 9 years, 9 playoff appearances, consistent winner, consistent program, consistent coach. Great to have Coach Byron Addison with us this evening. Byron, thanks so much. I hope you're well.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you having me.
Well, good to have you. But, I mean, listen, you blink an eye and you're at the same school for like a decade now. It doesn't seem like that long. It really doesn't seem like that long, does it?
It really doesn't. I've been having people ask me, and we've been talking about that for the past couple of days now about my tenure here at Carver and how fast those years passed by.
Just amazing. And, of course, as I mentioned, consistent program, consistent winner. Now if you can just manage to not have to run into Bryce in the playoffs like you have to in the last 3 years, at least
Yes,
until
man.
you get further along, right? It would be a nice thing.
Exactly.
You want to play them in the
Exactly.
semis or something? That's all good, right?
Yeah. If I can get them in the dome, that'll be great, man. That'll be great. We laughed and joked about that last year. Me and my coaches was like, how we end up paying these people every year at the same time. But yeah, man, that state champions been our way every year, and if I can get them other than the second round, it'll be great.
Well, you scared the devil out of them in 2017. I remember that game, a 40-35 game. So, look, obviously they're the benchmark, 4 straight state championships. That's an unbelievable run, and yet your program has proven that it can compete with the better teams in the area, if not the state. Byron, just talk a little bit about, your program right now and how difficult it's been, or has it been difficult considering you can't put the whole team together?
Oh yeah, it's been real difficult. Yeah, and I'm sure I'm not the only one dealing with it, but this year is very unprecedented. We never seen anything like this. So we're just trying to make the best of this situation. We have the gentlemen coming in, the young men come in at different times. The restrictions we have, they can't be together. So just putting this thing together is so much different than it's been in the past, where you have spring ball and have summer camps and all that stuff. Right now we just so far behind the 8 ball, so it ain't funny.
Fully understood, and yet there's always positive feeling coming out of Carver with football because you've done an excellent job and you've had some good young men to work with. And, of course, I know you'll have a nice set of players coming back this year. Talk about the returning players that you have, how many on each side of the ball and how solid you expect your team to be.
Yeah, we have a pretty good group of kids. I think on the offensive side of the ball, we're a little more experienced at the wide receiver position. We have Linares L.P. Jr., who's kind of done really good things for us this time here at Carver. We also have Delord Lewis, who's going to be the other side of him, who's been pretty much having a pretty good summer, the summer that we've been having so far. And the quarterback, we're bringing Jaheim Patterson back. I think he got a lot of time behind Quincy, the quarterback I had last year. Whenever we had an opportunity to go up on people and have a lead, he got a lot of touches, had a chance to get seasoned. So I like what we have right there when it comes down to quarterback and wide receiver.
Yeah, it's important. Quincy Curry did a heck of a job, but again, you got significant playing time for this young man, and that's going to benefit you greatly moving forward. We're visiting with Byron Addison of the Carver Rams, and when you look at the landscape of football in Louisiana right now, nobody knows where it's going. I think we'll know something fairly soon. We're all hoping that it can be played. We're all hoping it can be played on time. At this point, you just prepare like it is, but ultimately the big thing is that they get the chance to play at some point, correct?
Exactly, and that's what I tell my young men every day we wrap up practice. I like the fact that they still been motivated. They come to work. They haven't been asking a whole lot of questions about if we'll have a season. Their mindset is just when they're gonna play, and I think that's a good attitude to have right now. Because even as coaches, we kind of like up in the air, like it would be a shame if we don't have a season because these young men who coming in who's working so hard, especially my seniors. So I would, so like you said, we treating it one day at a time. We still preparing as if we're gonna have a season, and I just hope that it ends up happening. I don't care if it's in December or January. If we can have it, that'll be great.
Coach, you always schedule tough. I mean, I remember, you know, scheduling Sanoma, a really good football team, scheduling Brother Martin, John Errett. Of course, you got 35, who's always going to be tough. Helen Cox is tough. Of course, you have to play Warren Easton. Obviously, you've scheduled tough, and I'm sure you've done that by design, right?
That's correct. I mean, I don't try to go in and fool myself or fool the kids. I like to know exactly where we at early on. And I think saying those opponents like Sanderman and Brother Morton, I think it's only going to prepare us and get us ready for those tough opponents when it comes down to the district. Now we have Warren Easton, and even we have a chance to face the state champions again. We kind of at least know what that atmosphere is going to be like. So the last thing I want to do is go undefeated in preseason by scheduling a schedule that's kind of soft, and then you end up just eliminated in the first round. So that's just my mindset on how I go about scheduling.
Well, I think it's the right mindset. PowerPoints mean everything, and you get PowerPoints by playing the really good teams. And I get it. You wouldn't mind having one of those quote-unquote easier games in there somewhere. But the fact of the matter is your kids get tested, they get better, win or lose, right? Yeah,
that's correct. And like you said, it definitely PowerPoint does play a big part in it, because if we can play at home, it's nothing like playing at home. You know, when you got them opponents having to come to your field, your stadium, and where you used to playing at opposed to being on the road. I've seen them both, and I can tell you, in the playoffs, you will want to be at home.
I'm involved in an effort right now trying to revive the Field of Dreams, and I'm happy and even proud to be involved in that, to try to bring back the whole concept, which was started by a young man that did a great job to get it to third base in baseball terminology, and then, of course, without getting into extraneous detail, it got frittered away by some people who didn't know what they were doing and didn't care enough about the young people in that community. How important would it be for something like that to finally come to fruition for the Carver community? We all know the Desire Street situation. Everybody that's from here, like myself, understands how an entire psyche can be impacted by something positive, such as a development like this.
I definitely agree, man. If that project could have been completed, I think the list of success that we had over the years, I think it would have just elevated. Because now you telling kids who in this neighborhood who's branching off and going to other schools, and they just not staying home, not staying, right here in the community. I think that would have been huge for them, just knowing that you have your own stadium you play in. And, I mean, it's real big. I just think that would have been big for everybody, the school, the community, these kids. And I'm just disappointed that it fell through.
Well, we're trying right now, so we're giving it our very best, and there's a lot of good people that care about it, and we're trying very hard to try to not only resuscitate it, but to breathe life into it in a big way. So stay tuned. I hope it happens. We're visiting with Byron Addison of the Carver Rams, and Coach, obviously you've got young men now you're always a mentor. I mean, part of your job is to be a coach. Part of your job is to be a mentor. Part of your job is to be a teacher. In some cases, part of your job is to have parental influence, because some of these young men don't have that, and I know that to be the case. How much more important is that now in the times we find ourselves in, not only with the pandemic, but with society changing, and hopefully for the better, with equality and people understanding that we need to face the reality of the world we live in, and we need to help others that haven't been helped for a long time.
Yeah, it's funny you bring that up, because I just was dropping a young man off, a student of mine, and me and him just sat here and we had a life conversation. Like you said, we do it all. We parents, we coaches, we mentors, and if you're a coach, I'm sure you find yourself in that position. You're gonna serve as in some capacity as a mentor, a parent, and just the conversation I just had before you called me, a young man. So it's really important that you teach the whole kid first, and in the way things going in today's world, just making them understand that hey, sometimes this world can be it's not going to be easy all the time. And I think that was sports. That's why I like for kids who play sports because you're going to face those hardships. You're going to face trials. You're going to face it's just persevering. That's what I always tell a kid. It's about how you persevere, and life's not going to always treat you fair. And that's why I love kids who participate in sports because and I think about myself. Sports I always go back to when I had my challenges, when things didn't go well for me. And I think just playing a part and being involved in a structured program prepared me for things like what's happening in today's society.
Do you see real change taking place? Do you believe that it's going to happen? Do you feel it already? What's your perception right now?
I hope that. I mean, I will hope that things change. I will always want to be part of a society in a world where everyone is inclusive and people just work together. I see strides and I see changes in certain areas, and I just hope it can just happen globally. I mean, I know that's a long shot, but I'm optimistic and I'm always assuming the best and hoping the best. So I believe that there's great people out there, and I believe if we work together, I think it can be different than what we used to.
Yeah, the biggest thing I think with, and it's not just with kids, but with people like ourselves, like adults, is to be slow to anger because it's easy to get angry, and there's good reason to get angry when you get discriminated against, when you get mistreated, when you get treated differently than other people, and yet it's so important to understand that the actions of a few you can't let that affect your mindset generally because everybody's not like that. There are good people in this world of all colors and of all backgrounds. The problem is that there are bad people too, and we have to find our way past that to understand and to try to teach young people that let's not generalize, let's not get so angry that we hate the world and hate everybody else, and the same thing holds true for the other side of the coin, and that's a real trick bag, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, it goes back to, we always just tell them kids to be them best selves, even when it's difficult. I know for me, I can laugh now, but I just schedule certain games, Mr. Trahan. I just schedule certain games just so kids can experience that, man. We used to go, I ain't going to call the team out, but we used to take road trips, and some of my kids be like, Coach, why did we come here? And I said, because you need to experience it. And now some of those same guys come back who hadn't graduated, who's doing well, and they understand why I schedule the games that I schedule because it prepares them for moments like this, and prepares them how to respond to that. And then the response that you have when you stand on the field, that hey, you don't retaliate, you go out, you play your best game, and when you're done, you shake hands, and you move on. So we try to let every experience be a learning experience. So it always goes back to I tied it all into football.
Well, when you have that kind of outlook and you have that kind of leadership, my guess is the outcome is typically going to be good, if not outstanding. So keep that up because I think that's so important for so many people to take the right approach to be able to have a positive outcome regardless of what idiots might exist out there and conducting themselves in proper fashion. So I encourage you to keep that up. I really do, and really appreciate you, and I appreciate what you're doing at Carver, and keep up the great work. And listen, I hope we're talking about a game sometime soon. And like I said earlier, I'm all with the governor right now. Let's fast and pray here for a couple of days so that something changes, man. I'm all for it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And by the way, I can afford to fast. It's probably a good thing for me. Okay, so I'm all good. I never met a meal I didn't like. I don't know about you, but that's me, man.
Yes, sir. I understand.
Byron Addison, listen, thank you so much for the time tonight. Appreciate you much. Keep up the great work. God bless you and yours. Stay safe. You hear?
Thank you, Ken. Appreciate it.
All right, Byron. My pleasure. That's Coach Byron Addison of the Carver Rams. Good man, good program, good story, and hopefully it gets better in the near future.